We are familiar with some materials that we usually measure, and we are not concerned yet with, let's say, directions. These materials are called scalars. These quantities describing the material or any materials that we are not so concerned with directions, these are scalar quantities. Example of scalar quantities or scalars that we are dealing commonly are, for example, you are concerned with mass. An example for that is you can express it 1 kilogram, and then you could also consider time. It's an example of a scalar quantity or a scalars. So you could say, let's say, 360 seconds. Another is, let's say, for a particular energy. Example for energy, we could say 34 joules, or yeah, 34 joules. Here are these are examples of scalar quantities because they describe the property, the characteristics of an object based on a single number, and then, of course, the unit of measurement. But again, it makes sense already if you say, oh, I have a mass and that's 1 kilogram, just a single number. But there are some quantities that we are required to express explicitly the direction. These quantities are basically called vector quantities or vectors. Um, Usually, vectors or vector quantities can be described by at least two numbers. So you have vectors, and then example of vectors. These example of vectors that we're dealing is, for example, force, and then we mean direction. So you could say 1 Newton, and then let's say 45 degrees north of east. That indicates direction. So as you can see, one number here and another number. This basically describes this particular vector. In this case, we have force. Another common vector quantities that we have also in physics, we're dealing in physics, such as momentum. Later, we will have the specific unit. Let's just enumerate some common physical quantities that we considered vectors here. We could also have acceleration, displacement,